Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to take apart your 1/10 scale RC shocks. So what I have here is the Traxxas Ultra Shock. These are the rear ones. And I got one fully assembled right here. And this is one fully taken apart piece by piece. And I'm going to be showing you how to take it from this to that. So that you can clean it, change the oil, and do whatever you need to do to your shocks. Another thing that you need to take your shock apart for it is if you want to lower it. What I do is I take this. It's a bushing for normally aluminum shock caps, and you just put it through here and then put the screw through. But what I do is I take this and I put it on the shock shaft. Then I take one of these. They're normally found either as spacers already in the slash, or you can just get them in shock rebuild kits. But then that creates a spacer for when the piston goes down. It can't go farther than that. And it slams your shock a bit. Good for speed runs and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to show you how to do this. So all you're going to need for this is a set of pliers, a flathead screwdriver, a small one preferably, and some foam. You can get this foam from your Traxxas parts, your aluminum parts and stuff. They make good foam. And so the pliers and the foam are for your shock shaft, taking off the rod end, because you don't want to scratch it up. So you put the foam on and then you put the pliers on and then twist off the end. Sometimes it can be a little hard. And then the flathead screwdriver is to get the E-clips off of the rod, or the shock shaft. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take your shock and make sure you pull this up, and you also lift the spring up off of it. Then you slide it down and slide it right off. As you can see, there's a divot there to come off the shock shaft, and that allows you to remove your spring right off. And then above here will be the spring retainer, and that will leave you with this. If you're just changing your springs and stuff, you can just do that and then put your new spring on. You don't have to take anything apart. But if you're going in depth into the shock, next thing you want to do is take off the cap. Just twist it off. And normally there will be a bladder in here. I just didn't have any oil in these shocks, so I had bladders sitting around. But in here, you can see your piston moves up and down when you compress this. But now this is the part where you're going to need your pliers and your block of foam. So now you'll want to take your block of foam. You can have it in two pieces or whatever, but I just twist it around this, and then take your pliers, set it around so you don't scratch up the shock shaft. Then compress those, and sometimes, like mine, are a little hard to get off right now. There we go. You gotta squeeze it really hard. Make sure this isn't spinning. And then your rod end will start to come off. And if it's really hard, you can like fit something in there to spin it, and you can use an Allen key or something. But that'll just come right off. There we go. And then with that off, that allows you to push the piston and shock shaft right out. And as you can see, I have my spacers in it. So with the spacer, what it does is it only allows it to come down this far. You can see it only comes down about halfway down the spring. And then what happens when you take it out, let's get this back in here. You can see it goes down way more, or a good bit more. It goes down this much more to be exact, because that's how much you're lowering it. But then that allows you to just take this off, and then now we can put that aside. And normally to clean this, you'll want to unscrew this. There we go. And then inside here will be two seals and a spacer. I just take my shock shafts. Since it's threaded, you can grab these. And right there I got one of the seals out and a spacer. And then the last seal is in there. And if these are dry, just coat them in some shock oil or something if you have some laying around. And then, as you can see, there's nothing left in there. Just an empty shock body. And then what you can do is you can take some paper towel, roll it up, feed in there, and clean it, wash it and stuff. Get all the dirt off the threads. And make sure everything's clean. And then with this, you'll want to wipe it down. But if you're changing your piston, this is where the flathead comes in. There's a little divot right here. I don't know if you can see it. Get the camera to focus. It's not wanting to focus. But there's divots right there. Right there. There's a divot. But yeah. So you want to take your flathead, put it right in that divot, and just kind of push it out. And then eventually you will get it. It is a little hard sometimes, but this one's starting to come out. There we go. Got that one off. And then that allows you to remove the piston. This one has 2 holes. Traxxas out of the box will give you in the shocks 2 holes, but they'll also give you one with 1 hole and one with 3 holes. That's to adjust for your style of driving and stuff. And then as you can see, there's another E-clip on it. And if you really want to, like if you have to unbend a shock shaft, because I know these bend a lot, just do the same thing, get that in there and twist it. Kind of twist the flathead. But there, that pops right off. And then you got your shock shaft and you got all your stuff taken apart, ready to clean. Except the only thing I don't have in here is the bladder. When you put it back together, you don't want to over tighten the cap or else the bladder won't sit right. And you want to make sure you don't have too much shock oil, or else when it's compressing, it'll get to a point where it's really hard to compress because of all the pressure in here. So you want to always make sure you don't have too much in there. You want to make sure you don't have air in here. And yeah. Thanks for watching. If this helped you, leave a comment, like, subscribe. Peace.